Sorry I started without you. Bob Cigar Guy travels to South Carolina, and I'm smoking this delicious, delightful, and lovely me, K. Rita Black, right? A little spicy, a little aggression, a little turned earth and minerality, but it's in balance and delicious with all the other notes of flavors rolling around. Oh my goodness. So I work, right? I do. And I work at a car mill with tons and tons of people. And the conversation comes up sometimes about cigars. It does. And then people find out that I smoke cigars and they tell somebody else I smoke cigars and it just kind of goes down the line. I don't go advertising that I have the worst internet YouTube channel on the planet called Bob the Cigar Guy, but it ends up coming out and we end up talking. And then they ask me tons of questions, which is awesome. Any chance I can get to sit down with somebody face to face and kind of help them through issues with their lifestyle and just make their life better, I love that. But I found myself saying a couple things, and I thought I would share them with you. Let me cut this fan off. Hang on just a second. I'll be right back. I told you it's not a good YouTube channel. All right. And by the way, when I say I cut my fans on, I got a rabbit ear over there. That's over in Chief side. I got two toilet fans. We fancy, right? Anyway, so we got to talking and chit chatting with made a new friend. I have friends. We started talking about humidors and humidity systems. And I've kind of gotten it down to where I now know what questions to ask so that I can give the best advice that I know of possible based upon the life choices, the budget, and the lifestyle of the individual. Humidor problems. All right, so my first question is, do you have a humidor? Right? Because some people will keep it in a Ziploc bag, which with the Belvita pack, you could do that for a while. I mean, it's not very safe. It's not very pretty, but it will be functional. You could have a Travador. Travador is a humidor with a Belvita pack as well, or a humidification system. Throw out them stupid green pucks. That's just a mold magnet. Anyway, you could have a cigar box you got from your local lounge. You're starting off, and so you got that. Well, those aren't the best in the world. Yes, they hold cigars, but the humidification, you have to maintain it pretty hard, right? Yeah, some people have cardboard boxes, and those are highly unrecommended, Bovita pack or not. Then you've got the desktop humidors, the wooden desktop humidors, right? Then you got the winadors, the mechanical, electrical humidors, which is like a little refrigerator, right? That keeps in the humidity and stuff like that. You can use winadors as long as you don't use the cooling for it, because it'll actually cycle all your humidity out if you're not careful. The ones that are made like New Air and stuff like that are made for cigars, they're a whole different system. They actually cycle inside, kind of like on your car where you have the one button for the air conditioner where it brings in new air because somebody ate too many beans the day before, and then you've got the recycled in-cabin air which keeps it closer to temperature, doesn't make it work so hard, that kind of thing. Anyway, and so we started talking about stuff, and so this feller, he has a New Air style humidor, 200 count. That's another question. Asks is how big is it? Then asks how many cigars you got in it. By the way, I'm going to nerd out real quick. If you have a humidor and it's a wooden humidor, you're going to want to keep that thing between 70 and 80% full all the time. Why? Because humidity is better when it hangs on stuff. It stays around better, and it helps to keep it in balance. If you have one of those nice gauges, the analog gauges, the ones with the needle, right? Those aren't very often accurate. Now, I'm gonna have people hate me on that, because everybody loves and a lot of people love their analog. I love analog. I've got it on my stuff just because it's pretty. But you can do salt tests. You can research salt tests. You can actually buy from Bovita a salt tester, which will let you know. It also does it for your digital hygrometers, right? But we talked about it. And so he's right in that 60 to 70% range. Neat fella. Really great fella. Love to sit down and smoke a cigar with him one day. 60% humidity range, or 60 to 70% full. Humidity was a little high. We talked about that. I'm going to talk to you about it. You don't want your humidity over 70%. You don't want your temperature over 70 degrees. I actually run less than 68 on my stuff. That's not true. I run 68. I like it in that humidity range, but you can go a little drier if you want to. Cigars are not as dainty as people say. Don't beat them up. Don't juggle them, right? Don't put them in the microwave. Don't put them in a freezer. Don't do that. There's a way to do it if you have to, but don't do that. That'll be another video if somebody wants to hear about that. So, where was I? It's been a long day at work. So his humidity was up a little bit, and I had him wipe down the inside of everything. It's not a wooden one. It's one of those refrigerator ones. Had him wipe it down just to be sure. Told him to use distilled water. Then he told me about his humidification system, which was, if I'm not mistaken, it was beads. Heartfelt beads and other beads are good, but they're more maintenance. I highly recommend, especially if you're starting in the game, on a humidor about size of 250, which is his. I would say buy 4 of the big 60-gram 68 Bovita packs, which is what I told him. I'd say you take 2 of the Bovita packs and you throw them in the humidor, open them up, throw them in the humidor, and you keep the other 2. When those first 2 get hard like cardboard, take those out, put them in a Tupperware container with a cup of distilled water, not touching the Bovita packs, and put it in a sealed Tupperware kind of food-safe plastic sealed with a good seal container. Put it away for a couple weeks and it will swell back up. You can run it under the faucet, but if you do, you'll mess up the humidity system and it'll just keep pushing out humidity until everything is moldy and dripping wet and you can't smoke it. You wasted all your money. So I told him about that, which I'll tell you, it's a very easy system. Now, there's a lot of other companies that have a lot of other systems, and they're all good. I've got a big old cabinet humidor over here. Right? Got a big cabinet humidor here, and we use the Cigar Oasis system. Then we have this big boy right here, which is 6.5 feet tall, about 35, 40 inches deep, holds a ton of cigars. And I use Bovita packs. I do. Number one, you would say, oh my God, that's a lot of Bovita packs. It really isn't. As long as you don't go in and out of there a lot, a system like that does not remove humidity. The wooden one, it needs more moisture to it because the wood actually sucks out some of the humidity. And in doing that, it drains your beads, or it drains your Oasis, or it drains your whatever you have in there. If you have that foam garbage, throw it away. It is a mold magnet, I'm telling you. Argue with me if you want to. I really don't care. I just know from experience and from other people's experiences, don't use it. That's floral foam. It's no good. Pitch it. Get your Bovita packs. Well, Bovita packs are $6 a piece. Well, you know what? That's only one cigar. And if you don't have a good humidification system, you're wasting tons of money on cigars. And the way I told you, recharge it, you can use those packs for years on years on years. I have some that are probably 10 years old. I have cigars in Travadors. I have cigars in humidors. I've got cigars in small humidors. I got cigars in the winadors. I've got cigars in Pelican cases. I've got cigars in Tupperware containers. All that works. I've got cigars in desktops, glass text desktops, and all sorts of stuff. I mean, I got cigars everywhere. I got some in Ziploc bags, right? It doesn't matter what you put it in, as long as it is a an area that can be the humidity can be controlled. I couldn't think of the right way to say that. So it's important to do that. Because let's face it, it would be a crime to lose money because this Miike Rita Black is either too dry and it burned up and got bitter, it was too wet and you couldn't smoke it and you pitched it, or it sat long enough to be wet that it got moldy. The artistry of the master blender, as well as all the hands that went into this, we don't want to waste that. And so in not wasting that, we want to make sure that it's humidified well. Question that was asked to me, and I'm going to get off real soon. The question that was asked to me was, so it's better to have fresh cigars than old cigars? And it wasn't the fellow I was talking about, the humidor, it was another guy. And so I said in my head, he doesn't understand what fresh cigars are. A fresh cigar would be a cigar that's brand new rolled, which could not really be smokable per se, except for like at an event or something like that. He doesn't understand the aging process. He doesn't understand the normalizing room, the cooling room. He doesn't understand any of that. And it's a good question, right? Steaks, you want to dry age them, but, bananas, you don't want to age bananas, brown bananas, banana. You don't want that. So it's a good question. The answer to that question is you can have cigars that are just out to production. Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust make cigars that age well, but they make cigars ready for you to smoke or you don't have to age them. Some manufacturers, some places do age them. Cubans, you have to, when you get a Cuban, a real Cuban, you have to age it for a year. It goes through the sick period, and that's a whole different story. We're not going to get into that today. But if you have proper humidity, if you have proper temperature, and if you have a safe environment, you can keep cigars ad nauseum. That means a long time till you're sick of them, right? Who gets sick of Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust? But you got to take care of them. Right now, there's going to be some aficionado, and I don't know why you're here because I'm Bob the Cigar Guy, not a good reviewer, but it's going to be here and say, well, when you age a cigar, you must take into account the wrapper blend, and then you must dial in your humidity for the long aging so that the flavors maturate in a way that blah blah blah, which is true. It's true. But for this short 12, 13, 14, 27, no, I'm not going 27, minute video, I've got cigars that are, before I started Bob the Cigar Guy. That's 9-10 years ago. And I pulled one out just recently. And it smoked just fine. Now, does it taste like the other cigars? If I bought, let's say, my first sober mace I ever got from Steve Saka's first blend was that 8-9 years ago. If I had some of those left, and I smoked that sober mesa Elegante and Cedro, which is one of my jams, smoked it at the same time I smoked a brand new sober mesa Elegante and Cedro, it would not taste the same. There's slight variance in seasons and growing and a little this and little that because it is an agricultural product. But the blend could be exactly identical. The flavors in the tobacco could be exactly identical, which they're pretty dadgum close. That's one of the main jobs master blenders do. Not only to create the blend, but to make it the same blend time and time again. But it wouldn't taste the same. Why? Because it ages. Lighter cigars get a little bit less. Darker cigars lose a little bit of their spice and pepper. The edges get rounded off just a little bit. There is a sweet spot. You can age a cigar too long and it just doesn't taste as good. And some cigars, if they're too spicy, you put them in the back of your humidor for 2 or 3 years, you pull them out, and they may be your favorite cigar you've ever had in your whole life. Think of chicken soup. Mama makes good chicken soup. Man, I love me some chicken soup. Mama makes good chicken soup. And you eat it that night, and it's delicious, delightful, indeed, wonderful. And then the next day, you pull, because we make a pot of chicken soup. You pull it out and you heat it back up, and it tastes different. All those flavors had time to linger, to mingle, to hang out, to cohabitate with each other, and the flavors just get deeper and richer and delicious. And so, try it sometime. Get you a Dumbarton Tobacco and Trust cigar, one you love. right? One that is not a limited release, one that's in the core line. Maybe get a light one, maybe get a dark one, just for fun, and smoke it. And then keep a couple others, like 2 or 3 of each of whatever you pick, and then let those sit for 2 years, a year. Let them sit for a year. Then go when you let it sit for a year, go buy one of each, and sit down and smoke it, both of them side by side. See what the difference is. Don't take my word for it. Find out yourself. Then you bought a couple cigars in the very first time, so you got one cigar that now it's 2 years. So you have a 2-year-old cigar and you have a brand new cigar. Smoke that as well. Or when you buy your 1-year cigar, buy a couple, and so you can smoke all 3. Hey, let's make it a great day. You can buy a box and you can do this every year for 10 years. 13 years, right? Hey, that's a good living right there. By the time you're up to year 13, you're smoking 13 cigars in one day. You're about up to Steve Saka speed. That's pretty good. He does. Smokes about 10 cigars every day. Every day. And I'm talking about tasting it. I'm talking about burning it down till it's nerting. That man, I'll tell you what. But I'm going to go. So those are just some of the thoughts I had about some of the questions that came out. If you like this content, if this is a beneficial content to you, if you like to cover topics like this, things that people ask me, or you have questions and you'd like that mentioned on a video, please let me know. Because I'm thinking this may be something that'd be fun. It may be something that'll help you. And I'll learn, because if I do something wrong or I say something wrong, I guarantee you somebody's going to comment. So, I love you. I'll see you later. Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Buy it often. Smoke it every day. Later, Tater.